Now let us begin with the first activity over here. In this particular activity, we have to complete the web diagram and mention the tools that were used for making a home in the cave. Now these were the tools that were used by the families. So we'll write down axes, chisels, hammers and shovels in the last category. These were the tools that the family used. Now moving ahead to the next question. What made the family change over to their fourth residence? What precaution did they take before building it? So why did they move to the fourth residence? Here we have the answer in the passage. We know for sure that here the family had to go through a lot of crisis when they were on the island. Their huts were destroyed, their cultivated land was trampled upon by a herd of elephants. And that is when they took a decision to move to the next house, the fourth residence. And they over here, they finalized their ideas about the new residence. Rather than building a house on stilts, which the elephants could knock down easily, they would use 4 strong trees growing in a square near one another as a foundation. So this was the idea or the suggestion that they came up with. So we'll start by saying that one day they found that one of their huts had been completely trampled, completely crushed and destroyed by a herd of elephants. So the family designed their fourth residence using 4 strong trees that were growing in a square near one another as a foundation. They avoided the use of stilts to prevent the elephants from knocking them down. Now moving ahead to the next one. In this vocabulary question, we have to give the antonyms. Now what do you mean by antonyms? Antonyms are simply opposites. So the first one over here is defense. And the opposite to the word defense is offense. The next one is cultivated. And the opposite to the word cultivated is uncultivated. Now in the next question, we have to give the adjective forms. Now what do you mean by adjective forms? Basically describing words. Now how do we get these adjective forms? By adding to be before it, or you can even add people are, things are. Like if I give you the word beauty, which is in the noun form. In the adjective form, we can say people are beautiful. Now similarly, we have the word remedy over here. In the adjective form, to be remedial. The next we have the word finalize. So things are final. So final is the adjective form. Now moving ahead to some grammar questions. The first one over here. Huts had been destroyed by elephants. You have to begin the sentence with elephants. Now this simply means a question from the topic of change the voice. Now this particular sentence is in the passive voice and we have to change it into the active voice. Now in order to do that, we have to follow certain steps. The first thing that you will do is you will swap the subject and the object. So elephants will go at the beginning and huts will go at the very end. The second thing that you will do is out of the 3 verbs that are already present, had, been and destroyed, you will remove the extra verb, and the extra verb over here is been. And the last step that you will do is you will remove by because it's no longer necessary. So the answer will be elephants had destroyed the huts. Now the next one. They found a bamboo pole. Now in this particular sentence, we have to frame a WH question to get the underlined part as the answer. When now I read the sentence, the word bamboo is underlined. Now bamboo over here is describing the quality of the pole. So therefore, the WH word which I'll be selecting is which. So the answer will be which pole did they find? Now, you might think that why can't we write the same sentence as which pole do they find? Now that also sounds correct, but that's wrong. Because if I would have selected which pole do they find, I will be changing the meaning of the sentence. Because the verb that is there in the question, found, is in the past tense. So therefore, I have selected did. Now moving ahead to a personal response. Do the changes in the family's residence remind you of the history of man's evolution? So of course the answer is yes. The way they moved from one house to another and the tools that they used, of course we come to know that the family was surviving the same way we can imagine the early man or the ancient man surviving. So based on this, we'll write our answer. We'll start by saying yes. the use of tools has been interpreted as a sign of intelligence. It has been theorized that the tool use may have stipulated certain aspects of human evolution. Now, of course, over here when we talk about stimulated, we talk about the changes that may have been come about in the human evolution process, how tools changed over the years. And besides that, we know that ancient man of course kept on changing his residence because of some of these points mentioned here. Firstly, the fear of wild animals, change of seasons, famine, drought made the ancient man change his residence from one place to another. And then we talk about the Robinson family. The Robinson family too was resourceful in building up their residences each time with the things that were available on the island.